All right. Hi, my name's John Capper. I am a designer. I've created this thing called a Rolex tab. It's just for myself at the moment. What it is a basic, a Rolex GMT analog time display in your browser tab. I built it in Cursor in like a day or so, created all the assets for it and have basically got it up and running on my machine. I'll run you through what it does. So what you can see here is the Batman. All these files here are kind of created from scratch as SVGs and then imported into Cursor. I'll run through that in a second. Down here you've got a little settings tab where you can select the type of watch or the theme. The way I've set it up is themes, and you can turn the second hand on and off, make it so it's a ticking hand rather than a smooth movement. And you can also turn the GMT hand off if you don't want to. The GMT hand is basically, at the moment, I've set it up to show those cities. I can add more if need be. I just did this as an early test, so we can see that in Athens at the moment it is 2 p.m. or close to 2. So the themes I've set up at the moment are Batman. I've got a dark mode, which is kind of like a glow in the dark. I think I might adjust the background. Editing this is really simple. The way it's been set up in Cursor is here's my theme file, theme.js, and the way it's been set up is basically that each theme has this bit of code that dictates the background color. So if I can see that I've got Kappa, which is my own kind of custom watch that I've added to it, Batman dark mode, which is the one I want to edit. So if I want to change, I've got the background set as this gradient. If I want to change that, I can literally just change that, and that will be black, and then literally save this file and refresh, and that will darken the background. In the same way that I've set the background and that theme file up, you can see the theme relies on the face SVG, the hour hand SVG with specific width, height, and offsets. The offsets allow for things like the second hand that are basically, if I switch to something like the Pepsi, you can see the second hand overshoots here, and so the offset has to be this distance between the center, or the kind of rotating point, and the end. I'm not Rolex terminology educated, but you know what I mean. Let me just plug my machine real quick because I'm running on battery. And so you can switch. Basically, I've put in the kind of the most commonly known ones that I know of. Pepsi, I've got the root beer one, and each theme basically has the custom background, the face, the hour, minute, seconds, and GMT hand. That's it. They're the assets that go into making each theme. So I can quickly kind of whip up another version. We've got Bluesy, and we've got the Kermit. And we can change this to New York, which is whatever time that is. Here's my Figma file for designers out there. This kind of started as a very simple version of, so let's look at the face here. So that was my kind of reference. I would bring in a reference image. Over here on the right, I would basically recreate this as close to as possible in vector. So you can see, if I show you the vector outlines, everything here is vectorized. And it's kind of there. I'm mostly happy with most of it. This was really hard to do, this inside angled, if I change the color of that, anyway, you get the point. There's a lot of stuff that's gone into this. So I've got everything that goes into, say, the root beer is done here. The dark one, and they're all named the same. So that's face, and then you've got seconds, minutes, hours, and GMT for everyone. So it's really easy for me to kind of make a change. And if I open this up, for instance, I can basically edit the colors within this, which the way I've set it up is this kind of angular gradient that allows for this kind of metallic or similar look. I didn't want to add such harsh highlights, excuse me. But yeah, that's kind of like my Figma file setup. This is like where I started with some really rudimentary stuff, and then created like some bezels and basically went through iteration after iteration, getting all this typography as close to as possible. It's not perfect. I definitely, like these numbers are a bit of a stretch to try and find that font. But yeah, you can see here, I've got the faces with this. This is the most recent addition, is this kind of exterior kind of coinage, whatever they call it, to the bezel or the outer bezel. And so that's all the artwork for the faces. And I recently added this little overlay as a JPEG, which sits on top, and you can see how that works by inversing all the colors. But what it does is it creates this really nice kind of shadowing in here, and I can then tweak how that might play out in the images. I can kind of reduce or increase contrast and play with some saturation to remove the kind of patina or the aged look. Anyway, it's just me experimenting at this stage. Let's go back to the Chrome extension here. So I have created my own face, which I've just played around with the colors, which I called the Kappa, something kind of out there. But yeah, that's it. This is like I said, I'm not a developer. I've very little coding skills, but what I do know is how to design and kind of put things together. This is me just exploring using Cursor, and I built this entirely in Cursor using prompt coding or prompt engineering, whatever you call it. It started very differently to how it ended up. At one point, it was chewing up a heap of CPU usage, which I had to kind of troubleshoot and find out why that was happening. Cursor was pretty good at working that out. And you can see the way my file structure is set up is really neat. It's kind of like my themes. Each theme has its own folder. I can really quickly duplicate a folder and then go in here and adjust and export the face and all the hands from my Figma file really easily. And within minutes almost, go from if I go to my Figma, within minutes I could basically grab, say, let's take this face here and that face there, and I could take that green and throw that. I need to lock that. So replace that with a green, and there you go. We've got kind of like a Hulk style, and maybe edit that to be a bit, you could tweak that green to be a bit brighter to give it some. There you go. There's a green kind of base. So really easy, and then I would just export that out as an SVG. Job done. Yeah, that's it. That's my Rolex tab. Like I said, it's not available anywhere. I'm not sure if I can release something like this, but yeah, hope you enjoyed my little run through.